Hi, I'm Ryan Baker. Welcome to the first of this week's 3 videos. This week's videos will be discussing metacognition, this video, self-regulated learning, and engagement. So this week, the key theme is discussing key factors determining whether an adaptive learning system will work. The student's ability to self-regulate their learning, the next video, their ability to think about their thinking and learning, metacognition, this video, and their engagement or disengagement during that learning, the third video. In terms of metacognition, we've already talked about Alevin's help-seeking model. Go back and refresh your memory if you don't remember it. Alevin's help-seeking model is cool, but it captures a relatively narrow span of SRL behavior. And that span was particularly relevant in the system that he was studying, Cognitive Tutor, now Mathio. Self-regulated learning in general depends on metacognition. And metacognition is cognition about cognition. You're thinking about your thinking. What am I thinking about right now? Why am I thinking about it? Why do my thoughts inevitably return to lunch? The components of metacognition, according to a classic paper by Flavel, include, first, metacognitive knowledge. Knowledge about your tasks, goals, actions, experiences, or about someone else's. Second, metacognitive experiences. Conscious cognitive or affective experiences that accompany thinking. And third, metacognitive strategies. Strategies for accomplishing cognitive objectives, expressed in Flavel as separate goals and strategies. So some potential modifications I might make. I would probably focus metacognitive knowledge just on your own tasks, goals, actions, and experiences, and put thinking about someone else's in another category, just me. For metacognitive experiences, I guess I would just note that what Flavel means by affect is not the same thing I'll talk about in the next video. In the 70s, they used the term affect in a different way than we do today as a field. And when I think about metacognitive skills, I might think about abilities for accomplishing metacognitive objectives. Two metacognitive experiences that people tend to think are particularly key are the feeling of knowing and the judgment of learning. And some folks also refer to these as meta-memory experiences, where meta-memory is the study of what people know and understand about their own memory and memorial processes. So, for example, I know that my memory is getting worse over time, and that scares me. But I still have meta-memory, so I'm not in too much trouble yet. Feeling of knowing is when you feel that you know something. You may or may not actually know it. You may or may not actually be able to retrieve it, even if you do know it. For example, my son might ask,
"What's produced through a solution of hydrogen fluoride in water?"
And I say, "Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue."
"Spit it out, quick, that's hydrofluoric acid."
Feeling of knowing! Feeling of knowing is thought to be a special case of the memory retrieval process, where even if the memory retrieval fails, enough related knowledge is activated to lead the person to feel that they know the material. Judgmental learning is judgment of the extent to which a person has learned information. So metacognitive processes. Another way to look at metacognition is that it's a set of processes that interact with all three of these constructs: self-appraisal, self-monitoring, and self-management or self-regulation. Which brings us to self-regulated learning. It's hard to detect metacognitive knowledge and metacognitive experiences. Typically, we have to rely upon self-report or think aloud protocols, both of which have their issues. There are some learning systems that integrate self-report into ongoing interaction with the system, like, say, Phil Winnie's Zen study or Meta-tutor. And you can see Meta-tutor here integrating self-report into the processes at the right and on the bottom. So these systems typically focus on detecting metacognitive strategies, metacognitive skills, and self-regulated learning behaviors, which we're going to cover in video 2 this week. So I'll see you there.